Hello, you what does this say? Look, bullies are all cowards, right? This is about gang stalking. I've experienced gang stalking on and off for about 13 and a half years in Scotland, Portupants, somebody's called Scotland in Altox, work it out for yourself. And I've experienced it in England, all over England, Wales, Ireland, and Africa, and Dubai, you know. I get around a bit, don't I? And so basically what a gang stalker is the very rotten core of it, away down there on their way to hell. And basically that animate shite have high technology, high tech, right? And we're always behind the high tech. And what always happens with high tech, evil people get it first and fucking use it against us, right? That's what's happened through all our fucking history, right? They're just scumbags. The point is, see our species as not being entirely human, right? Everybody you know of isn't fucking human, even if they're in human form. And I can prove that they're not fucking human. If you obligate people to take an fMRI brain scan, which must be something you have by law, just like a passport to get on an aeroplane, you need a brain pass to get into a position of authority, which I've said lots of times in the past. If you want to be, you know, a judge, even in the jury, a policeman, or a lawyer, or prosecutor, whatever, teacher, nurse, doctor, you know, if we implement brain passes, you can't get a job unless you've got a brain pass which proves the front of your brain doesn't work or does work. Right? If your brain does work at the front, you can be an authority, and the first thing you would do is devolve power. So there'd be a power vacuum and you wouldn't need it, you know. You would just give people, you know, what their own means to help themselves, you know, and then as a collective, you know. However, at the moment we've got 6 million paedophiles. 6 million paedophiles who call themselves Freemasons. Not all of them are paedophiles. However, it helps with that share of shit down there. And obviously that garbage regularly rape children or worse, right? And you're meant to doubt the veracity of this, you know, even though I wrote a book called Veracity versus Adversity. It's available, never mind. The point is, suffice to say, 6 million paedophiles have got technology, high tech, that allows them to basically get away with murder, so they think, and no matter what they're reduced to. It also allows them to get away with falsely imprisoning people. Hello, I just brought out a video called Erol in prison. After recording it, I was sectioned for the 4th time, when only one of those times, no, in fact, all of them were fuck all to do with me. I've just been pursued by gang stalkers for 13 and a half years. They're evil, you know, and they're so evil they think they can hide it in plain view. That's how fucking stupid they are, and how stupefied they've tried to make you. And so when someone like myself comes along and says, look, by the way, this is what these sacks of shit are. They're Freemasons, the majority of them are fucking paedophiles. They've got technology that blow your socks off to prey on children and prey on people who they worry might wake you up. You're welcome, you fuck. So anyway, to cut a long story short, the high-tech equipment you're not supposed to know about, it's above top secret. Just look up remote neural monitoring, right? Just look that up and you'll discover, to your horror, that there's technology that can use your pineal gland, right, in the middle of your fucking brain, to broadcast to them with their equipment to see what you fucking see. Just like just now, you're seeing me, you know, it's happening. You're seeing what's taking place. What I'm seeing right now, because I'm looking on the screen. Never mind. The point is, so to cut a long story short, that shite, that fucking scum down there, fucking 6 million bloody beasts, right? They get technology to, I repeat, look through your fucking eyes and see what you fucking see, hear what you fucking hear, wait for it. If you think in silence, they can read it. just think how fucking evil these cunts are, because they want it for themselves, so they can have what they call power, and which means getting away with fucking murder. And they can have, you know, a lot of children being given to them with child trafficking. These fucking scumbags, you know. And they hide in plain view. I just recently learned that there's a charity called Bernardo's, which is heavily indicated involved with giving children from orphanages to paedophiles for money. And I've been subject to 13 and a half years of gang stalking because I told them, get to fuck. I'll go over it very quickly. About 13 and a half years ago, a guy came into the business I was running, and he said to me, join the Freemasons, Erol, and you'll get £100,000 this month. So I said, with all due respect, get to. And then he contacted me about a week later. Erol, on face pants. Erol, you'll get another £100,000 if you join the Freemasons. Right? Now, what he told me from the very get-go is that he had a daughter with Down syndrome. Right? So that narrows it down, doesn't it? In Scotland, who would it be who's a Freemason who's got a daughter who's got Down syndrome, right? And so what I did was, I shouldn't have done it, it's just, he wound me up that fucking much that I went and got a page somebody had written on Down syndrome, and just took one sentence, copied and pasted it to him inside an email I was written to him to reply to say to him, look, gonna fuck off, stop talking shite, I'm not a fucking beast, you know, so get to fuck. And what I put in it was, if you've got a daughter with Down syndrome, it's a bit like having a pet. Now that's what somebody else fucking wrote. I just copied it and bloody pasted it because he wound me up that much. And that should have been it, right? No. In come the Mad Squad. We're the fucking Mad Squad! You know, basically, he was using, it was a guy behind the scenes called Thomas. And his daughter with Down syndrome is called Georgia. Narrows it down, doesn't it? And what they do is, because they've got a lot of money and need to focus on security and protection, stuff like that, they use doppelgangers. And that's also part of their corrupt cult. Satanism, that kind of bullshit, you know, where they use transformers, morons in disguise. They use transformers to represent themselves rather than be rejected in person or battered in person or be preyed on in person, you know, blah blah blah. So in a nutcake, what happened next was they sent a wee whore into my life, another one, you know, and I call her Mayhem, and basically they told her to try and cause me post-traumatic stress disorder because one way or another they wanted to turn me into what they are, a fucking whore, right? There's no more heinous example of being a whore than one that sold its soul for money or for any reason at all. You sell your soul. Behind it all lies sadism, and that's what these sacks of shit are addicted to. Calculating. Finally, I've not farted on camera for days. Oh, hopefully I've got another one for you. Suffice to say, so those sacks of shit, like I said, sent in this wee whore, and she tried to cause me post-traumatic stress disorder. Didn't fucking work. I've documented it in previous videos. And in the end, I was sent a song, or no, essentially a song was uploaded for me to see called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," right? And basically, it's to, it, you know, signifies that I defeated them day one, you know, and subsequently throughout the rest of their evil campaign. Wait for it though. I then tried to stop Mayhem in her tracks, not knowing these bastards were behind her and the first fuckwit that came into the business I was running with a daughter with Down syndrome. I didn't know these people were all fucking connected. I didn't realise there's a fucking massive network of evil retards, right? So, in a nutcake, Basically, the female, when she ran away because, you know, she realised that she had lost, she actually said those words, and realised that was it. I was left pursuing her to try and stop her doing this to anybody else, still not knowing exactly who was behind the scenes, and tried to morally reform her from a safe distance, can't even say it. And basically, to conclude, it ended up with me being dragged into that fucking network of slime bags, and I'll name them. Basically, the police farce is owned by Freemasons, right? Proof of it is they've got black and white checks, which these dickheads are obsessed with because they see life as being a chess game against people who have no idea they're in a chess game. And these corrupt arseholes rig the game, reduce you to being one piece on a chessboard, surround you with a ring of whores they can suck out of that network, wherever they might be, and localise them and loop them around you and be surrounded by fucking evil bastards. And so you might even think to yourself, fuck, everyone's an evil bastard. No, they just are part of a network, and all of them are connected into it and can be called upon night or day for filthy fucking lucre. Now, if you offered me £5,000 and gave me slander to, you know, hate this person and take the money, and this person deserves me to be hateful towards them or to commit a crime against them, same shit, different day. So nonetheless, I was reduced to trying to get a totally corrupt Freemason run police farce to pursue her, to stop her from hurting anyone else or herself, you know, into the bargain. However, instead, as I put in Erol in prison, I get fucked into prison because there's an act out there you can use about anybody that writes the truth on the internet, you know. And however, I will not be mentioning that person by name ever again. I don't want to, because I was told that she'd morally reformed herself from a safe distance, but it turned out to be bullshit. Because what happened was the creatures behind these whores started to reveal themselves in all their lunacy. Basically, using the technology, I'm going to tell you now, it'll blow your fucking socks off. I repeat, your pineal gland, right? If these motherfuckers can use quantum entanglement to basically check out what's going on in your fucking head, hear what you're saying, hear what you're thinking, you know, and all the rest of it, you know, it could be used for great love, you know. Instead, though, it's used by evil perverts to be sadistic voyeurs who can watch through your eyes whilst they're committing a crime against you. And 13 and a half years later, since telling them to fuck off and do one, almost 14 years later, these evil bastards are still falsely imprisoning me, whether it be in a jail or whether it be in a psychiatric unit where you're supposed to think, that Erol, see what he's saying? It's so unbelievable. No wonder they're calling him paranoid schizophrenic. So think about this. Imagine you've got paranoid schizophrenia, right? Does it mean that you're never able to have a crime committed against you? Oh, but if that's the case, right, wouldn't it be fucking brilliant to be a paranoid schizophrenic? You never have any crimes committed against you, let alone en masse in gang stalking in massive teams. All you have to do is get paranoid schizophrenia and no more crimes can ever be committed against you. That's how stupid the people manipulating you hope that you are, right? So I got myself sectioned ages ago by fucking choice, which I've covered in previous videos, because I just wanted to end morally reforming someone to the nth degree, to the best of my ability, and did as well as I could. I just wanted to crack on. The problem is, though, that whole family, which I call a totem pole, because from top to bottom, they've got evil going up through their arse and out of their mouth, ass to mouth, you know, it's a totem pole. And they all work in a conspiracy and then pretend, like playing musical chairs, I'm the good one, I'm the bad one, don't get us mixed up because I'm the semi-good one, I'm the always bad one, you're getting them mistaken and mixed up. I don't give a fuck about them. They're lunatics who want to turn people's lives into a fucking game. I repeat, by surrounding them with players, bad actors, evil criminals. You know, I could give you a list a fucking mile long, and you should insist and ensure by your so-called authorities, who you're meant to be in charge of, they should arrest all of them and put them in prison or in a lunatic asylum, right? Again, if we brain scan them with a fucking brain pass, you'll find all the sacks of shit that have committed crimes against me. Wait for it. 33,000 crimes they've committed against me. I should be in the fucking Guinness Book of Records. Who else has had 33,000 fucking crimes committed against them? Wait for it. That shit down there keeps saying to me, Erol, stop punching down. Stop punching down. Whilst they're committing crimes against me. So, don't think, don't speak, don't move, don't do anything that might affect us because we've got delicate, hypersensitive sensibilities. Believe it or not, that is what that shite have been saying to me for fucking ages. Even though they've committed 33,000 crimes against me, they've actually asked me for favours. For example, put my television in the bin because their daughter with Down syndrome has been looking at me through the fucking television. Does that make me sound nuts? Well, most televisions have a camera built into them now, and even if they don't, you can still use the LCD as like in a window, you know, so people can watch you with your trousers down. Word to the wise. And so, like I say, so I didn't have a fucking clue they had a daughter with Down syndrome, and I didn't realise they also had a son who was obsessed with being hateful towards me and also obsessed with telling me to join his fucking religion, as did the rest of his family on that fucking totem pole, on its way to hell like a fucking comet, trailing all these fucking whores behind them. All the way to fucking hell in a handbasket, you know. And these stupid bastards that they fucking hire, who are part of that fucking network, most of them are soulless cunts anyway, who got into evil quite a long time ago, were raised by evil to be evil. And like I say, you can create a pool of them. You know, they are a fucking in a swamp anyway, you know, pond life. And you can get them to circle someone, I repeat, just like one piece on one fucking square of a chessboard, and they surround you with thousands of whores and peer over it. These paedophile scumbags peer over the fucking solitary square and surround you with thousands of whores all committing crimes against you. Now you might think to yourself, what kind of crimes are they committing? Well, I did a video called Erol on ambient abuse, and basically that shows you the kind of shit these criminals do. I'll give you some examples. When they couldn't get me to join the Freemasons, and when they couldn't cause me PTSD to either get me to, you know, be weak and enter that shithole with those whores down there, or to become a whore for them, you know, to be in some sort of whack-a-mole game with their children, who at that juncture were in their late teens. And I was told by their mother, you know, look, feel sympathy for us. Feel sympathy for us. Because we're lepers that can't change our spots, and we are evil vampires. That's what she conveyed, right? Across the board. That our children and her were vampires. You couldn't make that up. And it's energy vampires that they think they are. Reason being, instead of developing the front of their brain, they develop a white dummy teat. You couldn't make it up. Their fMRI brain scan, their brain pass would show you they've got a white dummy teat, right? They didn't develop left or right frontal lobe or prefrontal cortex. You know, they sucked the hell out of everybody they could possibly do that to, who they calculated they could get away with doing that to, you know. And with me, that animate shite tried and tried and tried for almost 14 years, and the arseholes are still saying to me, let us go, don't retaliate, don't even verbally reflect us, don't mention us by name, don't talk about any of our crimes, dating back 33,000 over 14 years, or we'll keep committing. You fucking couldn't make it up. Basically, if, as I've said, bullies are all cowards, right? These sacks of shit are once they punch you in the fucking mouth, they'll say to you, don't tell anybody or I'll punch you in the mouth again. So you don't tell anybody, which means they're more likely to punch you in the mouth again. Right? That's what they are. And that totem pole, from top to bottom, from 89 to 19, they are horribly putrid little playground bullies. You know, they're the scum of the earth, you know. And they form gangs. How many times have you heard the word ring after the word paedophile? You know, coincidence? No, no. That's how that shite get what they call power. And they get with that a network. Think about this. Imagine you could get a network where on your mobile phone, you could actually hire anybody who's in the vicinity to go and carry out any act of evil on your behalf for say about £5,000. Well, in the case of Thomas and his higher up, if he's still alive, I think the prick still is, Willie, and his brother, who doesn't even live in the country, Daniel, and his son, Brian, they're all in cahoots and targeting people, playing good cop, bad cop, trying to exhaust them in a game of imaginary tennis. And as I repeat, they fucking surround the people they're targeting and try and wind you up. They see people as being wind up toys and they sit back and laugh at you getting so wound up. You'll maybe copy a phrase from about Down syndrome and paste it and just say goodbye, you know, and tell them no, I'm not going to join. And like I say, if I look back on it, you know, I should not have sent that copy and paste in that email through FacePants a million years ago, but I've been told loads of times by them that it doesn't matter a fuck, they don't really harbour anything about that one. What they do harbour is insane, right? Wait for it. They, as I've said, committed 2 crimes against me, asking me to sell my soul and join the Freemasons for money, right? What happens if you fall for that shit? See ya! They just walk away from you and just don't commit any more crimes against you. That's it. It's up to you to work like fuck. And most Freemasons I know live in back streets, don't have 2 pennies to rub together, rarely go on holiday, and they sold their soul for that mess of pottage. So anyway, basically, so it went from asking me to sell my soul, sending in a fucking whore to try and cause me PTSD so I'm more likely to sell my soul, or join their cult, or be involved in a game of whack-a-mole, right? And that's what I think these arseholes have been going on about for a long time. You know, whack-a-mole is really quite simple. See, you go to your local supermarket, house super, and basically you go there, and when you get there, all these pieces of shit from that network, that satanic network, who are united. Well, most other religions are fucking divided. Oh, you couldn't make it up. So, and should get to fucking together to create acts of goodness, where these acts of shit are being got together to act out being evil. We don't have any groups of people getting together to help people like that. Instead, what are we told? They're paranoid schizophrenic. It's all going to officially pretend proven. I'm a fucking lying bastard, please. And that's the kind of message these sick shitheads put out there. You know, where they pretend to be the arbiter of reality when they're just garbage, you know, on their way to hell for eternity. And so, to conclude though, so, like I say, it went from, as you know, it went from them failing to make me become a Freemason, failed to make me become a whore involved with their whoring, and failed to involving myself with whack-a-mole. And they actually begged me to stop replying to them on the internet. And even when I did, they continued. All of them, you know. And again, Erol, don't punch down. Don't, well, we're trying to strangle you to death. Don't even speak to and reflect us exactly as we are. And she's about 63. And so, and her children are about 32. Erol, think of our children. Please feel sympathy for them. One of them's got Down syndrome, the other one's got autism. Right? And you think, well, fair enough. When you find that out, you wouldn't reply in any way that's construable as negatively. To conclude, I didn't know that Georgia even fucking existed until a few months ago, and when I was told she does exist and they're using technology to get her to watch me through the television in the bin, and it didn't end there. They continued committing crimes against me, and as I've just said, it led to ambient abuse, which I've had loads of times wherever I've gone with these stupid cunts. And so when you go out, they get all the network they get locally around you, who'll all target you, and they'll say something that they hope offends you, triggers you, causes you to have a negative emotional reaction, validating egomaniacs shite, right? They want to get on your nerves, and they actually study you, you know, and a whole load of people study you, and they've got a ridiculous amount of money. In the case of Thomas, his family have got roughly just over £1 billion. A sum of money you don't come by without being a fucking criminal, right? I don't give a fuck about money. I repeat, I would kick someone in the fucking head offering me money rather than go and try and abuse someone for money. I repeat, the people they suck down into this network of garbage lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. We're already on their way to hell, you know. They ensure they follow them like the tail of the comet beyond the event horizon, where they basically quake in suspended animation for eternity. Beyond love. Absolute fucking zero. Exactly where they belong. Together. You know. So, as I've said, they died on their arse, and so they then tried to get the police farce that they are in control of. Freemasons basically will give certain members orders and certain members money, especially, funnily enough, lower downs will get X amount of money if they carry out the crime. So I had police, corrupt police, try to imprison me quite a few times. A corrupt quack followed by another corrupt quack, psychiatric quack, corrupt social workers, all working in a loop around you, where they hope, oh, it's just too unbelievable. It's too unbelievable for the person to actually out them, tell other people about them, because of your fear of, you're a mentalist, Erol. You've got the paranoid of the schizophrenians, so therefore, with paranoid schizophrenia, it's impossible. No one's capable of committing a crime against someone with paranoid schizophrenia. It never happens, let alone en masse. Even though gang stalking can be read up on all over the internet now. I need kicked through my face, please. So that's what they're all about, and it's really quite simple. Picture the Wild West. I've said this in a video before. They used to carry guns about, and when they walked past each other, they would say, good day, you know, and that's fine, lovely. But if somebody walked up and went, alright, you fucking ugly bastard, they would shoot them in the face, or demand, you know, cutlasses at dawn. And basically, now though, that kind of shite is everywhere. I just want to have fuck all to do with these low-life evil bastards. I'll take an example of that. Evil, criminal, insane lowlifes. Lice, backwards. You know, or evil, criminal, insane vermin, vice, backwards. So anywho, all I'm saying is, they died on their arse, and on it went. Wait for it. So, the first tour doesn't get me to join the Freemasons. The second tour doesn't cause me post-traumatic stress disorder and suck me into a vortex, you know. And then, behind the scenes, this guy, Brian, Thomas's son, who's got autism. I think he's also got paranoid schizophrenia. He may have other conditions as well. However, he sent me fucking hate mail. After I, you know, got rid of them as best as I fucking could, that motherfucker sent me hate mail for almost half a decade. Every day, that wee bastard, Brian, would just send me some fucking hate mail. It was always shitty, and you know, as soon as I let it produce something beautiful, they would contact me in writing or with a meme or whatever. I would never ever instigate any form of communication with any of them. You know, I just want to get to fuck and leave them to it. There's 6 million of the bastards. What the fuck can I do about 6 million paedophiles who are in a fucking global ring with high technology that allows them to prey on you, again, to rig the game? Because they know exactly what you're going to do before you fucking do it, because you're thinking about it. And then basically they can have their plants, their whores, waiting for you there when you get there. However, if you want to ameliorate against all this pish, what to do is just get on a train, don't think about what stop you're getting off at, and go maybe 30 miles. Get off there and just go into a busy area and you'll be surrounded by innocent people. Although 2 out of 3 of them are probably going to hell in a handbasket. You know, it's just they're not getting paid for it like the gang stalkers are. And so anyway, basically, I said basically, people don't like me saying basically. Right, I noticed I say right too often actually. Right, so anyway, in the nutcake, so Brian, I believe, is also in a wheelchair. I didn't fucking know. I repeat, I thought it was the 28-year-old son of Mayhem. And I was trying to reform her and him at the same time from Porcupants, where I had to move to, because motherfuckers wouldn't stop arresting me, right? They arrested me once for having typed something that, no, having seen something. They saw something on the internet that looked something like something I'd written before in the past. And they didn't give me any evidence of this bullshit, you know? And so anyway, the best thing you can say to a copper is, no comment. See it? No matter what the fuck they say, give your name and your address, everything else, no comment. No matter what the fuck they say, no comment, because the police are not your friends. They're your fucking enemy. And you're paying their wages, as am I. Anyway, so Brian, I didn't know he had autism, paranoid schizophrenia, and was sitting in a fucking wheelchair. I just thought, here's this wee hate-consumed cunt, I'll use him. And I used him for years. Every day he contacted me so I could fine-tune my magnoscope. I'll say it again without going high pitch. My magnoscope. Lens after lens after lens after lens after lens. I used each member of his family as a lens to see that far fucking down. You know, but allegedly he was getting really upset because he wanted me to be hurt and silenced, abused, maybe killed. You know, and that wasn't working out. Instead, he was the one getting angry. And his corrupt father, Thomas, and his insane mother, her name's Mary. She sometimes says her name's like Anne-Marie or Marie. We'll just call her Mary. Scary Mary. So after Scary Mary came into my life, I was never quite the same. You know, and she at one juncture 8 years ago said she wanted to rope me into essentially babysitting. And then 8 years later, she started that shit again, and I let her have it, verbally. I've never ever laid a glove on them, stolen anything from them, lied to them, instigated any form of communication of any kind at all with them, tracked them down, put detectives onto them. I want fuck all to do with them. That's it. I've tried to say goodbye to them from fucking Porcupants to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and these stupid, insane fuckers fucking pursued me there, you know, because they want to keep you either as one of their would-be victims, one of their whores they've degenerated and reduced to that low form of life, or basically worse. You know, I don't give a fuck, I don't care, I don't want to know, you know. And like I said, they have shown me high-tech equipment, above top secrets and stuff like that, and you know, I think partly because then that should shut me up and silence me and make me think, oh here, maybe I should go in that direction, where hell awaits me. Let's just go to hell. It's well worth it, you know. Sell the most priceless gift there is, a soul, after the greatest gift there is, a life that's eternal. And you're going to give away your fucking soul for a mess of pottage, a fucking pittance of filthy lucre, a fucking chicken feed, you know? You know, I repeat, if somebody offered me £5 million to abuse anyone, right? I would punch them in the fucking mouth before I would, you know, come up to you and go, which they might as well do. I'm surrounded by whores who on a regular basis shout something or say something that they hope is hurtful, upsetting, that'll make you want, pretend, make you angry, cross, make you dwell on that, mull it over, harbour resentment, and that way these arseholes believe that shit has left their body through the arsehole they have behind their eyes, transferred through the ether and into the brain of the innocent party. So they're just animate shit. And so like I say, it goes back to them, how many times I said, gonna fuck off and leave me alone, just leave me alone. I want to fucking crack on, stop sending me fucking hate mail every day. If you are, I'm not going to reply. and that was cool. They then said, look, don't worry, because this wee guy, Brian, he's in a wheelchair. He's got these conditions, and yeah, he sends you hate mail every fucking day. So do we, right? The lens after lens after lens after lens after lens after lens allowed me to study ponerology, because my name is in the middle of it, as it is in numerology, as it is in chlorella, backwards. That substance you take to take all the badness out of you. It's got my name backwards in it. Also, the most important vitamin you cannot live without is vitamin E. All just a coincidence. Wait for it. These sacks of shit know they're going to hell. No matter what the fuck they do, right? They're going to hell, and they fucking hate me knowing that. You know, because I think when I speak about it, they think I'm kind of gloating. No, they're the gloaters. When they send whores into your life, right? And they send, like, you know, male or female whores to babble shite to you, and I hope that hurts you, that offends you, hope that upsets you, hope that something you'll think about later on. And that's just a female working in the NHS. What does the NHS stand for? The nation's home of serial killers. And after they try this shit on with you, I repeat, their pond life. It's a swamp we need to fucking drain. I'm not the only person to have said this, right? But when they have got a whore to carry out a crime against you, verbally, materially, fiscally, physically, whatever, through their corrupt network of pseudo-authorities, then the progenitor of the evil gloat, gloat, which you would expect to find in a fucking swamp. A pond, a septic pond. That's what they do after they, and wait for it, and if they realise they've got fuck all to gloat about or to goad you about, they'll then send a whore into your life or create a fake persona online, which they've done tens of thousands of times. Tens of thousands of hate mail, or thousands and thousands of hate mail, and all in roughly about 33,000 crimes if you count them all. So I should be in the Guinness Book of Records, not just because I've drunk Guinness for 4 decades. I should be in the Guinness Book of Records because I don't think there is anybody else on earth who's had 33,000 crimes committed against them. Lucky me! So anyway, it's all about telling the awful truth, you know. Just tell the fucking truth. Be selfless. Don't look for anything. Don't be a fucking coward. Erol means brave. It's Turkish for brave. And I am fearless. But, you know, I'm sure I can be scared. You know, if suddenly somebody throws a anvil through the window, I go, fuck, what's going on here? You know, that's about it. And I might even run out the house after them. Here, you! Take your anvil back. You know, and so, all I'm pointing out is, so when I discovered that this Brian was in a wheelchair, and essentially he, I thought to myself, maybe he is not the son of Mayhem, but I thought, no, he is, he must be. And on it went worse and worse and worse until his real mum and dad contacted me. That's Thomas, and we'll call her Mary. And then behind the scenes, Daniel, his brother, you know, who Thomas's brother, who, at least that's what I think the family dynamic is. And I was told that he's the fucking serial killer. We're just murderers, but he's a serial killer, and you don't want to know. And so I was told that I was now a targeted individual. They were using high-tech technology to pursue me, look at me through this, look at me, see through my own fucking eyes, see through television, all the rest of it will make you sound insane. Until you look up, remote neural monitoring, get on it, right? And whatever you do, stop sitting in front of television going like that, if you ever do, because they can fucking see you through the television. Blame yourself. And so anyway, so all I'm pointing out is, when I've said in the past, when I discovered that Brian, for all his hatred, for all his evil, you know, for example, telling me that I have to commit suicide or that he's going to burn my house down, I didn't know his father, Thomas, was sitting beside him, enabling all this shit, right? He's the one that's to blame. He's the one that gets butthurt. His son gets butthurt over fuck all. You know, it's Thomas who's keeping it fucking going, but he'll say no, it's Daniel. who lives in America, and somehow he's keeping things going in Scotland. Or like Cocoa Pops, Willie, he's the one that's actually funding and enabling Brian to commit acts of evil against him. It's all bullshit. I repeat, it's the one fucking totem pole. Ass to mouth, ass to mouth, ass to mouth. And it's a consensus. They play musical chairs and pass the parcel. You're meant to be the parcel. You're meant to be the ball in a game of tennis. And one of them actually came to me in a dream, let's just say, and she let me know her father and her uncle and her brother were playing tennis, and basically their ambition was to exhaust you. And if they do exhaust you, next, wind up toy. Next person to wind up. These are wind up merchants. And I don't know how many of these assholes are behind the scenes looking at each individual targeted individual. Suffice to say, in Portupants, before I left for Africa, right, I said, look, I didn't know this motherfucker was in a wheelchair, didn't know anything about that he had autism, just he sent me hate mail every fucking day, non-stop, trying to be hateful all the fucking time. And so I said, you know, now that I know that he's in a wheelchair, I'll not fucking reply to him anymore, right? And they essentially said that he's quite blunt, and so it's like being hit in the head with a hammer. And so, and if you hit him back, it's like hitting him in the head with a hammer. So I just thought, okay, enough, right? I didn't realise, but at that juncture, they committed dozens of crimes against me, and they would end up committing 33,000 crimes against me. And they knew it's all bullshit because they said several times that it's Brian's own fault that I've hurt him. Because if somebody gets hurt whilst they're carrying out a crime against you, even if it's just remotely viewing through your eyes, which is a crime against humanity, an invasion of your privacy, disturbing the peace, you know, and then add to that slander where these cunts go about saying Erol abused a girl who sits on a bucket with a ukulele up her arse and she's got Down syndrome, and Erol knew that, and Erol knew, even though he didn't know, for 14 years, basically he hadn't put two and two together with that one. What am I on about? So that's the shite. They tell people that I've abused their daughter, whom I've never met and didn't even know existed, except it kind of like vaguely, like, and not knowing if that's a theory that's correct or not. And it's only a few months ago I discovered she exists, and threw my fucking television in the bin because her mum told me she wanted her to leave her bedroom and join her in a healthier lifestyle than staring at me through a fucking television whilst I'm sometimes not aware people are watching. I'm aware now, fuck's sake. So all I'm pointing out is what happened. Well, when I tried to get to fucking stop replying to any of these assholes, they all started sending me fucking hate mail again. They even followed me to fucking Africa to try and drag me back into the police state, which Britain is a police state. And those at the very top, as you know, are fucking paedophiles called Freemasons, who are the scum of the fucking earth, and you have to sell your soul to join that shower of shit, right? So, you can come in as a Mason, learn the ropes, as a fuck toy, a minion. So anyway, fun enough, it was actually Brian and Thomas, in fact all of them, who said, you know, look, if you become a Freemason, we stop committing crimes against you. If you join our cult, this old cult shit, you know, where Mary's sitting with a fucking pointy black hat on, with a broomstick up her arse, you know, genuinely, Mary calls herself a witch, and I have genuinely met several females who've got hair down to their fucking arseholes, because that's how they want to present themselves. That's what they think a real witch would be like, and how long they've been a witch for, or whatever. You know, some of them, you know, it should be in a trail, fucking 20 years behind them. And so, like I say, it should have all have ended in Portugal, where they came to Portugal, bought the farm off me, so I could fuck off to Africa, and then what they wanted to do was put Brian in there. He gives me the finger, which he seemed obsessed with doing for quite some time, sending me like pictures of middle fingers being projected from the very, very get-go. Even like 3 toilet rolls with it kind of looked like that. And so I just wanted no more, but they wouldn't stop. And they went on and on, so eventually I let them have it. And just like I shouldn't have copied and pasted that having a daughter with Down syndrome is like having a pet dog, which is not my words. I just copied and pasted it till I wanted this fucking scumbag to leave me alone, who kept asking me to sell my soul for buttons. You know, if he's asked me to sell my soul for 20 trillion, I would tell him to fuck off, you know. And so, in a nutcase, yes. And then over a third of a decade later, after Thomas and Brian and Daniel and Mary and Coco Pops, oh, let's not forget James. He's a wee guy who I think's probably been influenced by me in the background, and I want fuck all to do with him, you know. But I think they've all been influenced by my goodness, and essentially they know the religion's bullshit. They know they're sucking an internal white dummy teat when they carry out an act of evil, because very often they'll carry out an act of evil and a human being can't magnify that low a form of shite, you know, and they'll still go, right, they suck that white dummy teat. And basically, if you don't have any reaction, it shows they don't need someone to be there to be evil towards in order to suck their dummy teat. For example, when you're wanking, you don't need someone to be there to ejaculate. You know? And so most people who have sex are just using each other to ejaculate, aren't they? You know, there's just a glorified bigger hand. In most cases, sadly. You know, I'm sure there's love abounds out there. However, we're essentially as a species coming to an end, and I'm going to do my level best to make sure there's a chance that we collectively survive. I'm doing it through a site I've come up with called smallchange.site, right? I'm working on it, you know, I've bought just loads and loads of stuff for it, and basically to make sure it's tickety-boo. And however, because I'm doing that, what are they doing? Intercepting and basically tampering with what I'm getting delivered. Even a pizza, they took the topping off on the pizza. They let me know they're seasonal vegetables. I've said that one before. And so, you know, whatever it is, they'll put a screwdriver through it, make it get lost, smash it to pieces, so I open up, it's a pot that's smashed to pieces in a box, and so on and so forth. However, I'm sure the average person won't have that come to them if they buy stuff off smallchange.site, because they're not obsessed with you the way they are with me, you know. And you know, I think you look at the bigger picture, and it's either they're thinking to themselves, right, if Erol doesn't become a Freemason because he knows above top secrets, and many of which I've taught them, then we've got to kill him if he doesn't do that. Or maybe they think, alright, get him to fuck, get him as far out of his way as possible, and I want to be as far out of the way as possible, the Outlander, you know, and I just want to move up north on an island and farm, and indoors and outdoors. The one indoors is for the site, because I want a product I can make that passes lab tests for purity. Pure of nanoparticles, fucking microplastics. Eventually got there. Microplastics, nanoplastics, heavy metal nanoparticles, arsenic, you name it, lead. I'm just trying to give people the purest products they should be using, otherwise they're killing themselves. They're cutting short their fucking life, unless they take on board what's on smallchange.site. Buy everything on it, you know, and work towards it yourself. That's what I'm working towards, and that'll be leaving a legacy for those who survive what's coming. What is coming? Well, at this moment in time, we've had children in their thousands mowed down. So in Gaza, for example, thousands mowed down, whereas on our side of the planet, we're mowing the lawn with a lawnmower. So it's not happening. We are essentially living in a nightmare because we're not choosing to tell our so-called authorities, get a brain pass, you cunt, and then do as you're fucking told. If your brain pass shows your front of your brain doesn't work, in the bin, you cunt. Fuck you. You can be a street sweeper. You can keep your fucking, fiscal mansions and fucking whatever. It doesn't matter a fuck. Just get to fuck. And it's a simple, obvious solution. fMRI, brain scans for every bugger. Then you can essentially stamp a fucking H in the middle of the forehead of people who are not human. There's a fucking hologram. Hologram. So anyway, what did I get to? And basically, I'm gonna have a drink of water. So, just like with Georgia, I shouldn't have said that Brian is an ornament, because he sent me so much fucking hate mail for a third of a decade, that I was just kind of hitting him back, saying, look at yourself, you fucking cunt. Because every day he contacted me to say, you are what I am, you are what I am. No matter how you interpreted that, whether it's his father, his grandfather, his mother, or his cousin or uncle or whatever, it's the exact same every fucking day. You are what I am. There's no variation in that, unless you flip it. I am what you are. You should do what I should do. You're doing what we're doing. It's the exact same. One brain cell between them, right? And so they kept on committing fucking crimes against me, in person, through whores, online, hate mail, hatred, crimes, loads and loads of crimes. Now, I'll go to the ambient abuse one, right? I didn't realise the phrase Tommy knockers resonated with the second whore they sent into my life 13 and a half years ago. And the Tommy knockers resonated with her. It's a book by Stephen King. And what it means is, and the reason it resonated with their whore is because they're obsessed with doof, right? Anytime they can get a whore to walk up to you, and if you're next to a door, slam it. Even if it's downstairs at the front of your building. I didn't know for years. This is what these arseholes are obsessed with, being Tommy knockers. So whether it be a car door, a ward door in an asylum cell, whatever, bang, 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 and they can hire cars to drive up beside you, bang, get out and open their doors, bang, I repeat, outside of your building, bang, at the top of the stairs to your house, bang. They are fucking obsessed. They are monetards, right? So I did a video 8 years ago called Erol on unitards, and that was me saying, ta-ta, bye-bye now, and thanks for all the fish, but they still kept on going. So I realised then they're not unitards. They're an even lower form of intelligence, monetards. And recently, I realised, oh fuck, they're even lower, nanotards, right? And the best of them are high-functioning retards, that's it. And I want fuck all to do that share of shit. Just want to lose a little bit of weight, fuck off up north, farm, and give the purest food to the poorest. And that's it. And if I make any profit, give it to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. And that's it. And so, in a nutcake, I go back to gang stalking, right? So they have no excuse at all. It's all bullshit. And they know it's bullshit, and they've contacted me to tell me, look, it's all bullshit. You copied and pasted a sentence 13 and a half years ago after we tried to get you to sell your fucking soul, and then our son fucking abused you for a third of a decade before we told he's in a wheelchair, and because he kept on abusing you, you eventually said, look at yourself, you're a fucking glorified ornament, and I don't know if he is in a fucking wheelchair. I've never met the cunt, and all along I've been told it's his father Thomas who's the one who's butt hurt behind it. Not just because his son's upset, he's upset because he fucking hates the truth about himself and wants to scare people into joining him on the way to fucking hell in a handbasket, which is never going to happen. I've already passed this test. On my headstone, PASSED, passed. On their headstone, failed. Or failure, whatever, failed. I think that's preferable, that's that. Now, I've been at the graveside of more sacks of shit like that, you know, going all the way back. You know, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I realised I'm just wasting my breath. Wasting my breath. It's essentially like with these creatures getting a shark by the nose and trying to look it in the eye and try and teach it about the error of its ways. They'll never learn, ever. They don't store a depth of emotion with the memory. And they may also be blunt because they had a blow to the fucking head. In many cases, they're a full-term abortion, right? For some reason, they survived in the womb and they got out there. And it's no coincidence, you know, that paedophiles, almost all of them, are soft in the head. It never, ever matures. And so, unsurprisingly, they're attracted to children who are essentially the same emotional age as them and give them what they're looking for psychologically, which is power, dominance, a kind of one-upmanship. And also, the sadistic ones, they believe they're leaving their ship with that innocent person, destroying innocence. They'll be rewarded for this one day due to their imaginary fucking Satan god, imaginary animal god. They're fucking insane. But that shit hold all the power, you know. So basically, they could tonight get 20 doctors to show up at my door and say, Erol, you're mentally ill again. We need to put you in an asylum for 1,000,000 years. I was told recently by a nurse, a head nurse, who found it quite humorous. She said, the quack who had me sectioned a few weeks ago, he got £90,000 for doing it. And she said, yes, he's a fucking quack, all right. Right? And she fucked off. I didn't pay 1 pence for that. Also, I've seen the looks on the faces of the ones, they've paid whores to target me, in some cases, over half a decade or thereabouts. Half a decade, they've paid them fucking tens of thousands over and over again. And their desperation to off-end me. I want fuck all to do with any of that shit. Problem solved. And, well, they leave it alone. It's up to them. You know, I know where I'm going. I know where they're going. And that's that. And so, I'll either get to be able to try and give as much good as I possibly can over the coming months, or they'll be holding me back because they're existentially envious of me, and I think they've completely lost the plot. And so whatever the original plot was, at times it's popped back up again. And like I say, only it's popped back up again is because Brian used to contact me every fucking day and say to me, join the Freemasons, you are what I am, you are what I am what you are. And then obviously his father then learned from his son, oh, you're tormenting Erol again, and he's actually reflected you and it's hurt you. Okay, let's work together to commit another heinous crime against him. I'll tell you some of the crimes, right? Hiring corrupt cops to arrest me repeatedly. Hiring corrupt judges to ask me to go see a fucking psychiatrist who they paid. And then sent social workers to my door. Erol, we're very caring, lovely, wonderful people. I just told them to fuck off. And so if you let that shit in, then just tell the others, and then they all form a consensus, a conspiracy, and boom, that's you in the loony bin. If they don't get into the jail first, you know, it's all bullshit, you know. Basically, you believe if it's on a piece of paper and a doctor has officially signed it, the person must be insane then. No, the doctor's insane. A criminal, evil sack of shit on its way to hell for eternity. Spot the difference? And so, like I say, that garbage, just need to print out a sheet of paper tonight where they've typed with their extra thumbs on each big toe, with their hooves off. And I presume that they're not real hooves. It's your choice of shoe. And so, in a nutcake, all I'm saying is that, so they have, I mean, I've lost count how many times I've heard them pay whores to bang, 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 bang. I mean, wherever there's a door, if I'm beside it, they pay a whore to run and bang it. Now you might think, well, what's the big deal? Try that thousands of times, or whatever it was, hundreds of times with that one. The other one is, if a car goes past you, get the car to go, and you have to work out, alright, which one of them is behind that particular whore. And so, and I don't give a fuck, you know, although I know that Thomas, his number's 5, Brian's number's 2. I think George's number is 2 as well. And there's only 1 4. And basically, also I think Daniel, his number's 3. I'm guessing that Mary's number's 8 and maybe Willie's number's 1. I don't know. I think there's meant to be a queen mother out there, because Mary actually refers to herself as being a queen because she's in this paedophile network who are in control of a network. They can pull around you at the drop of a hat, pay them X amount of money, and they'll sign your life away. So that aside, so basically what I did was, after they plagued the fuck out of me using the police farce, even the procurator fiscal who phoned me to tell me, look, we just take minutiae out of context, dramatise and blow it out of the fucking water, make out you're a bad person because of this minutiae we've taken out of context. And I explained to her in court, no, Russell versus Stubbs. It's long-standing in Scottish law that basically you're not allowed to take a fraction out of context and magic away what you call the universe. You know, magic everything away and just, oh, this one we accept, take that, oh, that proves she's a bad person. The average person's like in court, oh no, I'm not a bad person, and they fall for it. Instead of actually saying, no, you're taking a microscopic micro dot out of context and magicking away the context which proves I'm innocent, and explained why I typed what I typed, and so on, right? So that's what the procurator fiscal phoned me up to talk to me about. You know, that she basically, and then in court, she laid down to give me the court. However, at the end of it all, the judge still said, you've got to go and see a corrupt quack, and social workers will come and fucking put you. However, he did say before I fucked off, the best thing you can do is get, a verdict, somebody who's corrupt, to say, oh yeah, he is insane, so you can get away with telling the truth about all these pieces of shit, you know, and that's that. However, remember, don't, if you're offended by somebody in person, whatever you do online, don't use their fucking name, because at this moment, from now on, unless you do something about it, if you type the truth about a paedophile, who you know is a paedophile, who you caught being a paedophile, who everyone knows is a paedophile, if you mention their name online, then the police come. That's the police. And basically you huckled away, because all the paedophile has to say is that they're terrorised by you. Hey? Picture that. Terrorised by you. Even if you're not calling for them to have their nuts cut off, which they need, you know. If you cut the nuts off a paedophile, they're 98% less likely to rape again. If you don't, they're 98% likely to commit another offence as soon as possible. Especially with that fucking ring of scumbags, if they are blackmailed into joining it or just are eager to join it because it's the ring of power as they see it, you know. The rejects from J.R.R. Tolkien, you know, and the rejects from Bram Stoker, who essentially, it sums them up to a T. You know, Bram Stoker, it was going to be called The Undead, and at the 11th hour he changed it to Dracula, and it's the best ridicule I've ever read of a narcissist. If you read Count Dracula, the only person they can have in their life is people who don't see them in the fucking mirror, as they don't see themselves in the mirror as I see them. And if I reflect them exactly as they are, you know, they try and commit another crime against me. So, as I've said, they sent whores into my life, they sent police farce into my life, corrupt judiciary against me, corrupt psychiatric NHS scumbags against, you think, oh here, people who work for the NHS, Erol, they're all really good people. No, I've met one who said she murdered accidentally lots of pensioners during the COVID nonsense, and she's an evil bastard who later was told to stab me in the arm, but with taking a needle, putting it the wrong way around, and get a long needle and stabbing me as hard as she could for at least 4 inches, and then said to me, "Does that hurt?" And so, and then I was bruised for about 10 days, and even one of their oldest whores looked at it and went, "Oh fuck, we've gone a bit too far here." But what do? When they see that look, double down, right? They get the whore and say, "Look, you gave away the fact that you think we're evil and saying I've crossed the line. How much money have we given you for fucking 5 years?" Yeah, and so they act out, having magicked away me living in a continuum and remembering events exactly as they happened. when they act differently after a good grilling by the scumbag and scumbags paying tens of thousands to these pieces of shit to carry out all these crimes. So anyway, so there we are. I left the country in the end, and what happened? Well, they let me, and what happened in Poultry Pants was they paid locals to commit X amount of crimes against me. Not that often, but periodically they would be. Anytime I would try and make money, they would be involved in stopping that happening. And so in the end, I thought, sell the farm, didn't realise it was going to be sold to them, and then fucked off to Africa, Ethiopia, to farm out there. And they followed me because they knew that they would still write to me, and I might hurt them by writing back. Yeah? Bear this in mind. I wrote a novel called Veracity versus Adversity. What's the odds of it being there? And in that, I point out that my whole life I've met assholes who choose to be assholes. Basically, who say, no matter how many times they instigate and provoke you, try and hurt you, whatever, make you angry, whatever, if you do retaliate, right, magically, whatever, they pretend that basically your retaliation took place first. You couldn't make that up. It's in Veracity versus Adversity. My whole life I've had that with people alive and dead who, now dead, they genuinely pretend that if you retaliate, if it hurts them in any way, shape or form, it magically fucking predates their instigation. They're the twisted fire starter, yeah? And, you know, they just are the instigator and perpetuator of acts of evil until you retaliate, and that's what arrests them, because it starts in infancy. In infancy, they approach someone and steal something from them, try and hurt them, because maybe they're jealous or envious of them, and when the person then lets them have it, and says, you wee fucking greedy piece of shit, you wee fucking scumbag, give me that back, you fucking cunt, right? Then the person who's the perpetrator goes, how can you say about that about me? You're a bad person. And then the poor victim goes, oh, well, hang on, no, hang on, I'm not a bad person. No, it's just you did that, and then I said that. Maybe I should have used too many words, and maybe I shouldn't have. And in the mind of the would-be sociopath, they think, oh, this works. Oh, I'll use this again. And they do. They just keep on for the rest of their life. If they commit a crime against you, if you retaliate, even verbally, even with a look, a thought, they'll then see if they can prey on the moral conscience they don't have. They're hypocrites, they're scum. I mean, every time they point a finger at you, there's three pointing back at themselves, and the overflowing volcanoes of evil they're guilty of, all the way back to the cradle. Now I know some of these creatures may have been abused in infancy by very, very evil people, right? Who might be their parents or whoever. However, I was abused from 4.5. How come I've not ended up joining a paedophile ring? Think about everything it could get me. Get me a job at the Royal Mail. You know, I would then, they stop committing crimes against me so I can just fucking crack on. You know, that's all it is. You know, if they stop committing crimes against you, that's all you get for selling your soul. They stop preying on you, you know. What was I on about there? So, like I say, I have not ever instigated any form of communication with those creatures, ever. And they've instigated fucking countless acts of hatred online and crimes in person. And in Poultry Pants, before they bought the farm off me, thinking I would stay there so they could then burn the farm down and Brian could celebrate and that'd be an end to the matter, even though he'd wake up the next day and say, I'll commit another crime against him. I need more crimes to be committed against him because I got butt hurt 8 years ago by him. I haven't thought about him for fucking almost 8 years. You know, I didn't think about his father for over a quarter of a decade, or his brother, Thompson Daniel. And I just, it's not been in my fucking head. And they're the ones who try to wake me up again for whatever their agenda. I don't care. I just want to crack on, up north, crack on. That's it. But unfortunately, to this day, I think they still try and send me hate mail on a daily basis that they've given a lot of thought to. But unfortunately for them, they've got one brain cell between them. And that's, imagine that, 33,000 times. Bang, 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 because they're saying, if you retaliate, just reply. That's like smashing them in the forehead, so that's why they bang the door. However, I was told about the Tommy knockers before they entered my life, just from the get-go. And so, obviously it's all bullshit, and this is what they've been doing for ages. They've been winding people up for decades, not just me, and then person retaliates, and then they go, whoa, that makes you a bad person, as I've just described, from infancy onwards. That's what arrests them in infancy, because they see your reaction, and you don't want to be thought of as being an evil bastard by an evil bastard. And like I say, that's where they get stuck. And they get off on it. Some of them get a rush of dopamine, yeah. And they don't need to touch their genitals, which are in there. And basically, they don't need to touch their genitals. And they get off on it. And basically, they realise, I'll do that again. I'll abuse someone I envy. They'll try and give me a hard time. I'll then hammer them and then suck before, during and after. So that's what was sent into my life, right? And I had to fuck off to Portugal, where they continued to hire whores to come to the farm, to kill my cockerels, steal my chickens, steal my grape press, try to enter, and they can get into a network very, very quickly. And so if you ask a fellow who's like selling wine, would you like 2 tons of my grapes for whatever you want? No. Because they're behind the scenes telling them, there's £10,000, say no. So they did shit like that, and I just thought, though, fuck these people, I don't want anything to do with them. I just want to fuck off to Africa. All they were thinking was, Thomas especially, and Brian, they're butthurt, and which Mary's against because she wants peace for her kids. However, it's her fault, and his fault, for plonking them down in front of the television to watch me through my television 14 fucking years ago. Now, admittedly, they have said along the way, these evil criminals, that they like my music, they like my comedy, just whatever you do, don't tell the truth about them, because it's like pouring water on a gremlin. I can't remember the name, is it Mogwai that becomes a gremlin when you pour pure water over it? So anyway, I don't want anything to do with these sacks of shit, you know. I just want to fuck off up north and crack on. I repeat, they've committed 33,000 crimes against me, and anyone that comes to my door or wherever I go, they've got somebody waiting there for me to go, right, what do I mean by that? They want a negative emotional reaction, validating egomaniacs shite, right? 33,000 times they've had whores from that network of scumbags on their way to hell in a handbasket to see if they can cause me to choose to put stress on the nerves in my prefrontal cortex, which will cause me post-traumatic stress disorder, and exhaust me. And then the seasonal vegetables fuck off and come back in 3 months, and this goes on and on until you commit suicide. It's called culpable homicide, and they're all guilty of it, whether they're in a wheelchair, they've got a walking stick, a Zimmer frame, or whatever. It doesn't magic away the fact that you can be evil even if you're sitting in a wheelchair. Yeah? You can be evil no matter what, you know, but sadly we live in times where evil is in charge and so they want to magic away all their evil, and if anyone tells the truth about it, imprison them, section them, kill them, commit loads of crimes against them. However, they don't do it too obviously. You know, they try and do it kind of vaguely. However, as I exposed in Erol on ambient abuse, they've got what I was told all those years ago, 1.5 decades ago, demon drivers. So I repeat what I said earlier. They've been committing crimes against me and loads of other people before me. And it's the exact same bullshit, where they peddle their pity play. Oh, listen, I know we've just tried to cause you post-traumatic stress disorder and it may have worked. However, our daughter's got Down syndrome and our son's autistic, and Daniel has lost his legs from the knees down, and I'm Thomas and I've got a big foot that I have to have in the air when I'm in bed because it's gout riddled with gout. So I've been led to believe, I don't know. And one of them's dying of lung cancer, one of them's suicidal, one of them might like my music and it ameliorates against what they've become because they stop my music from getting anywhere. So if they like it, that helps them like it even more because they're the only person fucking hearing it. Although I've got it through DistroKid, YouTube, blah blah, and occasionally the odd person does hear it, and I hope it helps. So like I say, I've lost count of how many morons I've summed up in Veracity versus Adversity, which I wrote in my 20s, mid to late 20s. And yet I still meet people who are that stupid that whatever retaliation happens, it's their own fucking fault, and magically it does not magically predate instigation, provocation, serial criminals, serial killers. You know, I've been told that Daniel is a serial killer. I've also been told that Mary has led to at least 2 people committing suicide because she tries to leave them with post-traumatic stress disorder, throw a cushion down for them to recover, teach them about mindfulness technique, put them on medication, keep a close watch on them via your corrupt quacks, your corrupt police farce, and so on. And so 2 people I've been led to believe have committed suicide because of her. Right? Now, her daughter and her son, are they not in it? Well, obviously they are. Is it impossible for someone to sit in a wheelchair and be evil over the internet until you commit suicide? Well, of course it is. Right? I documented it in a previous video. It's very easy to get a relationship online and just torment the person, torment them, and then when you think they're at the lowest ebb, go, ha ha ha, see you cunt, you know, and that's it. And of course, if the person doesn't kill himself, they wait a wee bit and I'm sorry about the way I went on before, let's start again please. Right? And so if the person takes them back in to their life, the piece of shit will try and cause them post-traumatic stress disorder again. For example, in the case of the Yorkshire Ripper, he gutted a woman, if I've got Peter Sutcliffe rather, right? He gutted a woman who was sitting beside him in a car, and her guts fell onto her lap. Right? Now, the reason he did that, he said, was because a prostitute had offended him in the past. So he wanted revenge against her and all prostitutes. A lunatic. And so basically I'm a horrendously selfish, evil person. But as I've said in a previous video, sunlight still got through the bars of his cell. Oxygen still got into his lungs, because in order for the good to prosper and be allowed to progress, the bad down there must get the sun and the oxygen and food from fucking trees and fucking out of the ground. Must be there for them in order for the people who deserve it to get it. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try and spread as far as I can above board to try and give people to the best I can, the purest I can, with pure love. That's the name of the whole company. Pure love. Starting with babies, infants, puree love, and then as I get people to improve upon it, purer love, purest love, and even perfume. Because I love the smell of the flowers that grow on pear trees before they become pears. Perfume. And I'd market it towards 8-year-old girls and older. It does seem like a fucking very girly smell. It's lovely. And so the whole company would be called Purefume on that one. So I've got loads I want to do, you know. However, they've held me back, you know, like a cat putting its paw on the tail of a mouse, whereas I'm up here, you know, and they're just using a massive network with paedophiles in charge, a corrupt network, NHS, and corrupt police farce, corrupt judiciary, corrupt banking system, corrupt teachers, corrupt. And people have said, this is probably the end times, you know. It was, wasn't it, when in the Jurassic era, some creatures had become what they eat, you know. Look at a T-Rex, yeah. That had become the thing that, what the fuck, it did to itself epigenetically and genetically until a creature was formed that's the most horrible creature you could possibly fucking imagine. Then what happened? Bang! Big fucking comet lands and wipes it off the face of the fucking earth. The answer to all of this is under the ground our feet walk on. You become what you eat and you get what you fucking deserve. So, I'll tell you, these creatures have sectioned me 4 times, and the last twice it's most obvious. They hire, as I've said, exclusively whores from this network, many of whom are so deranged, with hair down to their arsehole. They call themselves witches, and basically they're all bullies, because they calculate that these people who see themselves being above the police farce, and therefore there'll be no consequence for their actions. They've been told that I'll not physically attack them, and verbally I might just ignore them or blank them, or if I do put them down in any way, shape or form, then they work on them, double down on them, send them back in, and so on and so forth. I want fuck all to do with these arseholes who are obsessed with playing tennis, you know, with people. To you, to me, to you, to me, you know, and so I'm the good cop, I'm the bad cop. Today I'm the good cop, I'm the bad cop, he's the bad. They talk constant shite. Look, they hire fucking whores that come into your life. They'd never dream of going in themselves to run the risk of having their face kicked through the back of their fucking skull, which is what they know should happen. However, am I saying we should kick 6 million paedophiles' faces through the back of their skull? No. Not Saf, new pair of earrings, off you go. You know? And am I saying kill all the witches? You know, no. I'm just saying brain pass. Everyone should have a brain pass like you've got a passport, or you shouldn't be allowed any position of authority in culture that's going to ruin the fucking toilet bowl in a way. You know, if you have gone in the wrong direction, before it's too late, realise one word: intention. If you've good intention, good will come to you. If you've bad intention, bad will come to you. If you've no intentions, good or bad, well, you're just treading water. And however, the problem is, of course, the creatures who've been targeting me have all got mental problems, real deficiencies. And so even if I've not thought about them, spoken to them, wrote to them over a quarter of a decade, over half a decade, or in some cases didn't even know they existed, except in theory, right? The thing is, in a nutcake, because of their mental deficiencies, the next day they wake up and it's still Groundhog Day and they attack me again. The next day they wake up and it's still 1984 and they attack me again. And no matter what, they say they keep moving the goalposts further and further away, and they keep riding your back with a carrot on a stick. So you keep on going until you fall off the edge of a cliff along with them. I've never had any interest in that shit. No interest in scoring goals or winning imaginary competitions with evil people who have rigged competitions with one square with one white king on it, surrounded by 10,000 fucking whores who are all on the take, who are being paid off. They're horrible, evil bastards who, after taking the filthy lucre for their soul, they've got hell to pay for eternity. They've got hell to pay for eternity. We're spending a long time there. So I could go on, however, I'll leave it for some other time. I'll list in some future video what it's all about, furthermore. And I think I can just go and have a quiet Saturday. Don't forget, these arseholes send whores to come to my door on a regular basis because they've ratified me as being paranoid schizophrenic. See, therefore, no crimes can ever be committed against me. That's brilliant, isn't it? 33,000 times wrong. And like I say, don't punch down, Erol. Don't reply to us whilst we're committing crimes against you. They see themselves as being energy vampires. They genuinely believe they're sucking energy out of you. If you have any reaction to their bang, Tommy knockers, or any door will do, and if that doesn't work, well, add demon drivers. As I put at the end of Erol on ambient abuse, they hire thousands of cars to drive up and down the street where basically one car every 10-15 minutes tops used to be the case. And so I need to now fuck off up north. And I know these arseholes will probably have already slandered me She's done loads and loads of times. They've lied to loads of people and said, Erol knew my daughter had Down syndrome and my son had autism, even though he didn't, for over a third of a decade. And basically, he then said something that hurt their feelings, and therefore that magic's away us instigating countless crimes against him, and hate mail online, and rigged competitions, and a whole corrupt judiciary. Magic's all that away. Because after a third of a decade of us committing crimes against him, he said something that hurt our feeling, which they know is bullshit, because they've contacted me recently, Thomas and Daniel, to tell me it's all bullshit. Fuck off, forget about it. Stop giving a fuck about Brian being butthurt. Well, she got butthurt whilst carrying out crimes against you thousands of fucking times when you wanted fuck all to do with him. Or his father, who I didn't even know was there. Or Daniel, I thought he was a latecomer, although just periodically they pop into my head and then give it 5 minutes and I forget, you know. And that's what all I want to do. I've even told a quack who's a corrupt scumbag, I'll take antipsychotic medicine every night to help me forget these creatures even exist. Then I'll go up north to get as far away from Whoreville, as I call it, as possible, to get rid of these sacks of shit. I want fuck all to do with them. Here's the thing though, they have told me that Georgia, the girl with Down syndrome, at times she likes me for some reason, and that Thomas at times likes my music and what have you. And obviously though, it doesn't stop them committing thousands of crimes against me, you know, and I don't want anything to do with them. That's it, you know. It's what I'm going one way, and never the twain shall meet. I'm working on smallchange.site, right? Stay tuned and spread the word. Tell as many people as you care about what's happening to me, or you're next. Just like in Nazi Germany, if you allow it to happen, you're next. Much love, much love.